A story about something that Tim told me one time that I did not understand at the time, but now that I am a couple of years more mature, I really, really get. So if you don't know, Tim was a good friend of mine before he ever came to work for me and joined the channel and, started Coffee and Crypto with me and everything. He was a good friend of mine. He was our microchurch leader for myself and my brother. I came to the Lord and grew a lot in the Lord in the early days of my walk with Christ in his microchurch, and he's actually also a trainer. Before he came to work for me, he had a training business called Warren Brothers Training, and he used to train people, and I was one of his first clients. And one time he was training me, and we were walking into Crunch Fitness here in town, and he told me something that I just did not want to accept. I just could not hear this, and it turns out that what he said was so accurate that it is still ringing in my head through every conflict that I go through to this day. And I want to share it with you. What he said when we were walking into Crunch Fitness was this. He said, whenever you are impatient, that is a sign that you are being prideful. By the way, all of this is going to tie back into cryptocurrency. I promise you, you're going to see how all this relates, and it's all going to click for you. We were walking to Crunch Fitness, and he told me whenever you were being impatient, you were being prideful, and that made no sense to me. You know why it didn't make any sense to me? Because I was a very prideful, impatient person. That was why it didn't make any sense to me 2 years ago. And I obviously still struggle with that. I'm not saying I'm perfect now, but I think I've grown a little bit. It did not want, my brain, I did not want to hear that. I did not want to hear that. Being impatient means I'm prideful. What are you talking about? These people, they're taking forever. These slow drivers, these slow markets, these slow portfolios, these people that are taking forever, man. It's their fault. It's all on them. Man, if they just speed up, I'd be there already. If only they did this, if only they. It's funny how big of an impact you can let they have on your life. Isn't that true, huh? I think we've all learned that lesson, even if we don't want to accept it. So he told me, if you're impatient, you're being prideful, full stop. And the reason I disagree with him is not because you can't be prideful while being impatient. That's not why I disagree with him. I disagreed with him because he said, literally, if you were ever impatient, you were being prideful. And Tim, if you're watching this video and I'm misquoting you, I apologize. Comment on the bottom, but this is what I remember you saying. If you're being impatient, you're being prideful. Full stop, period, like all the time. So why does this tie into Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies? Well, oftentimes, we forget two very important things about markets. Number one, it takes time to make money in markets. So if you're in cryptocurrency and you've been in it for 3 months, you probably think you've been in it for your entire life, because so much happens. You've seen so much take place in the short time that you've been in crypto. So it probably feels like forever. If you've been in cryptocurrency for 5 years and it feels like your whole lifetime, and another 3 months go by and you're like, whatever, just another 3 months, 3 months is nothing. But when you've been in crypto for a very short amount of time, you feel like so much time has passed. And because so much time has passed, and we often attribute how much time we spend at something with our mastery of that thing, then we start to feel like we're gods of trading and these incredible technical analysts. And so we don't have any patience for the markets because we think we're so good. We think we're so amazing that we have no patience, and we refuse to wait for the markets to bring about the returns that we want them to, and we get impatient. So the number one thing that I want to say here is that we do get impatient very easily. It's a very easy temptation, because in cryptocurrency it moves so fast, so we're tempted to think, oh, well, Bitcoin and crypto move so fast. Why is it not moving faster right now? Why aren't you moving, Bitcoin? Especially right now. Bitcoin's been trading sideways more or less since mid-January for 2 months. 2 whole months. Can you believe that? 2 months. But when you zoom out, you realize 2 months is nothing. I remember in 2018, Bitcoin traded sideways the entire year. So the number one lesson is have patience, but the number two lesson is actually far more important in my opinion. And it has to do with motive. Why are you in crypto? Have you ever asked yourself that question? Have you ever seriously sat down and pondered why you are in this market in the first place? I have. In fact, I knew not as clearly as I do now, but I knew relatively well when I got into crypto why I was getting into crypto. I was getting into crypto because I wanted to help myself and my family and my community. That's what it was. I had people that I wanted to help, and I had a dream that I later found out was placed on my heart by the Lord, and I had this vision of building $1 billion media education business, and we're doing good. We're on our way. We've been very blessed. I knew why I joined the cryptocurrency space, and when I tell you that story of how we went from 5 to 7 subscribers, and I made a commitment there that day that I would never say I, but that I would always say we. I said that because I realized the why. If you know who Simon Sinek is, then you'll understand this concept of start with why. I understood why I was doing that, and that's why this channel has been successful. That's why you guys tune in. That's why you guys subscribe. It's not because I'm a great technical analyst. I think I'm all right, but I don't consider myself an expert. I consider myself a student. The reason you subscribe to the channel is because of what we believe in and why we do what we do. That's why you're here. That's where the passion comes from. I can't fake the passion, guys. I'm speaking to you just as much as I'm speaking to myself here. So number one, we can very easily get impatient with markets. And number two, we're prideful. Full stop. We are. You know why? Because oftentimes we forgot why we got in the market in the first place. What is pride? Pride is putting yourself ahead of others and thinking that you have it all figured out and believing that you know what's best all the time. Now, sometimes you do know what's best. Sometimes that's not pride. Sometimes that's confidence. There's a fine line there. Pride is, a lot of times, I would say confidence plus arrogance plus a dash of being a jerk, and then you get pride. But pride comes before the fall, doesn't it? So, number one, again, we lack patience to let the markets grow. But number two, because of our pride, we often forget why we got in the market in the first place. If you really dig deep into the hearts of everyone who has ever been successful, I'm not talking about somebody who made $1 million or somebody who got rich off of Dogecoin or somebody who made it big on BitConnect because they got in early. I'm talking about people that consistently killed it, smashed their career for decades on end. A Steve Jobs, a Warren Buffett, a Bill Gates, Steve Jobs, and Elon Musk. All these people, most of the time they did it because they were doing it for themselves, yes, but for someone else. And now you might think, but what about this? What about all these people they screwed over? Yeah, they might have screwed over some people, but in their minds anyway, they were probably thinking, okay, well, sorry, you're not my family. I don't need to worry about you because I'm worrying about these people over here. Even the most selfish people have normally one person that they're looking out for and that they're trying to help. They just make the mistake of running over other people for the sake of that one person. So, what's my point here? If you're in cryptocurrency and you don't know why you're in crypto, you're not going to succeed. You might, but it's going to be a lot harder than it needs to be. It is so important. It is so important for when the times get hard that you go back to why you got into it in the first place. Because believe me, guys, as a 21-year-old who built a company out of nothing, and I come from nothing. It's not like I had seed funding. It's not like I had a ton of rich connections. I built it out of nothing. It was a blessing. I didn't do it alone. The Lord guided me, but I know what it's like to have hardship. I know what it's like to be building this thing and for it to be so freaking hard and for you want to throw in the towel. You think the rich, successful, fulfilled people in the world didn't think about quitting every once in a while? Really? You think they don't get that temptation? You think I don't? The thing is, when times get hard, you got to ask yourself the question, why? Why am I putting myself through this? Why am I doing this if it hurts so much? And then if that why is strong enough, then you won't stop. You know why I'm doing this? Because number one, I believe it is the biggest calling on my entire life other than being a husband at this point and a follower of Christ. But number two, it's because there are people that are counting on me and I care. You guys don't see it off camera. You don't know how many times I've cried, bled, and sweat for this channel. I love you. If you are watching this, I'm not ashamed to say that. I don't think I'm less of a man for saying I love you and I want you to succeed. I care. I do. I really do. I just want to see as many people succeed as possible, and I'm not perfect. I'll fail. But I have a why. And that's not to say I don't struggle with pride, but that is to say that when it gets hard, I swallow it and I accept that the only way forward is humility. And what is humility? It's the antonym of pride, but humility is putting others ahead of yourself. It is being self-sacrificial. It's being loving, as the Bible talks about in 1 Corinthians 13. Love is patient, kind. It's not proud or boastful or rude. It is not irritable. It doesn't keep a record. It doesn't rejoice from injustice. It's about being loving and having humility. So you might be thinking still, at this point, 10 minutes into the video, Jeb, what does this have to do with cryptocurrency? It has everything to do with cryptocurrency because it has to do with you and the way your brain works. If you don't know why you do it, and you're so prideful as to think you're really in it for the money, because I can almost guarantee you're actually not in it for the money. You might think you are, you're probably not. You're in it for what the money will get you. So let's go back to the original quote. Tim told me that whenever you're impatient, it's often because of pride. Tying it all up into a nice, neat bow. I finally get what he meant. Whenever you're struggling with impatience, it's a fruit of a deeper root. And what is the root? The root is that you're being prideful, more than likely. And you're saying, no, I want to get somewhere faster. No, I want to get here on time. No, I want this to have happened a week ago. What about the other person? What about this concept of humility and your why that says, no, actually, you'll find your true motivation when you put others' needs ahead of your own? What about that? So I encourage you that if you ever see yourself being impatient with the cryptocurrency markets, challenge your heart. Because it might be that you're worrying too much about yourself. It might be that you're saying, yeah, but what about me? And that could be coming from a painful place. That could be coming from hurt. That could be coming from a lot of hardship. I'm not attacking you in saying that at all. That's not what I'm trying to do. I've been there, guys. I know what it's like to be impatient because I'm tired of hurting and I want this thing to happen. I'm not attacking impatience. I am trying to help you address it because it will help you if you understand how to be patient, and the way to be patient is to have humility and lay down your desires for someone else. It could be your mother, it could be your father, it could be your brother, sister, spouse, child, it could be your boss, it could be your coworkers, it could be your employees, it could be your best friend. It could be the Lord. Hopefully it's the Lord. But try to walk in a spirit of laying down what you want in a humble manner for someone else. Be self-sacrificing and others-serving. And walk in that spirit for a little while. And then that impatience might go away, because I fully agree with what Tim said. Many of the other things he's also said. If you find yourself struggling with impatience, you're probably struggling with pride. If you enjoyed this video, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and ask yourself, why are you in cryptocurrency? And do what Toyota does, which I drive a Toyota, so I put my money where my mouth is, literally. And ask the question, why 5 times? Why do I want more money? So that I can have a nicer house. That's not why. Okay, because if you ask why again, why do I want a nicer house? Oh, well, because I have a big family. Okay, well, why do you want a nice house for your family? Oh, well, because I love them and I want them to be supported and to have a safe place. Okay, perfect. There you go. That's your answer. Why? Well, because I love them. Why? Because I love them. Why? Because I love them. Why do I love them? Because I love them. There you go. You found the answer. Keep asking why until you get to the root of it, and you'll be much more clear on what motivates you, and that will help you in the hard times. Hopefully this was helpful. That's all I got for you today.